Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudtalk number 33, CRPGs. In case you don't know what that means, it's computer role-playing games. There have been numerous CRPGs over the years, even before we had actual decent RPGs on certain consoles back in the 80s and 90s. My memory is not that good. We didn't have too many. They're mostly text adventures on the C64 and the Commodore 10s. A bunch of other older PC or IBM PCs. I don't remember too many on the Macs, if there were any at all, I don't think, back in the day. But my memory goes back to the 90s, and of course we talk about Planescape Torments and the Fallout games, the first two, which were all isometric turn-based games. And I do have some favorite of those. I do have a few turn-based games I appreciate still. I'm more of a real-time with pause guy. But there's a massive list of these style of games. They're not all turn-based. They're not all action-oriented. They're all kinds. And they range from sci-fi to fantasy, of course, and post-apocalyptics of almost also a very favorite setting for a lot of these. And it's Black Friday, in case you didn't know. So if you go off Steam, I'm going to post some Steam pages of these games. They're all under like $8.50 Canadian, which I imagine is like $6 American. So if you're interested in any of these games, you're probably going to have a good shopping spree today on any of the games that might interest you. It's fun. I'm going to go through, I don't know if you guys can see it. Actually, no, you can't because it's streaming. We only have the video we were going to cover, which is more of a fun thing we'll cover later. But I have a list. Do you guys have a list of games that you want to talk about before we get started?
Was a bit of a short notice.
Yeah.
But I would like to mention Lands of Lore 2, even though it hinges more onto the adventure. But there are still decisions that you can make throughout the story that shapes which paths you go throughout it. And because many of the core thing that these games have, that role-playing games have, is that they have at least one ending. And the at least one is the important part.
Right.
But there are often numerous paths that you can take to get there. So it's not like most games today that is just a story on rails, where also the level design nowadays is seemingly just long tunnels until next level, which is basically just nowadays you're just playing jump and runs, but from behind the character. That's what it feels like to me very often.
Oh, and if you do check out GOG, I couldn't find it on Steam. It's selling for 74% off at $2.09 Canadian. So,
which one?
Lands of Lore 1 and 2.
And 2. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I for all the numerous German watchers in the audience, get the German version because the German dub of Lands of Lore 2 is amazing. It's really good.
Yeah, if you guys don't remember, the
English one is okay, but the German one is like, whoa, the pronunciation is top notch.
The cover art has this witch on the cover, and she's sort of like, what is she doing? I don't know what exactly she's doing.
Oh, that's for Lands of Lore 1. That's the witch Scotia.
Okay, she's like throwing a lightning bolt through her hand at the screen. So yeah. It's got some, was it full motion video? Some actors in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's kind of half adventure, half puzzle. Back in the before Sierra really took off, I guess. No, Sierra was still pretty strong in the early 90s, if I remember.
Lands of Lore was Westwood.
Yeah, exactly. So very similar to what Westwood does. I wouldn't say like Curandia, but in the vein.
All right. Now that you mentioned Sierra, I remember the other thing I wanted to look up that we also mentioned before, but keep talking.
Because that's a very different style of computer RPG in the realm of what we have nowadays, which is usually combat focused, so turn-based combat, like Fallout 1 and 2, isometric perspectives, and in that case post-apocalyptic setting, but usually fantasy setting. Like that's the biggest one. There are some I'd never actually heard of that are not only real time but also third person. One was called Elex, which came out 5 years ago. Has some mixed reviews. and I'm trying to see if I could find it on Steam. Where is it? There it is. It's selling for $7.49 Canadian. That's pretty cool. Let me just read one review. I think it was pretty funny. There we go. The heartwarming story of an albino autistic man going through steroid withdrawal, starring Jank Vin Diesel. So, so apparently there's this thing called Eurojank. I don't know what that is, but people describe games like this and other ones, like Stolasta, I think is one of them, as Eurojank. I don't know what exactly that refers to, but
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm going to go through my list later, but if we want to talk about your favorites, like that's early 90s, that's pretty old for a CRPG. And I played all the King's Quest when I was growing up. I played the Space Quest, was it Hero Quest? Can't remember the names of those games on Sierra that tried to do combat, that tried to do action throughout.
Quest for Glory.
Quest for Glory, you got it. Yeah, great games.
I just added number 3 to the list just so that we can have something in the background.
Yeah. So I got my list to go through later. What about you, BadBoyBeta? What are some of your memorable experiences with the role-playing game experience or the role-playing game genre on PC? If we're even there. Well, I think he's not there. BadBoyBeta's gone. Oh no. Well,
too bad.
I'm going to go through the past 12 years. There's only a few, but I can talk about like Planescape Torment, Fallout. Those are my favorites.
That's still in this millennium. So Planescape Torment is I think 99.
Yeah, it's late 90s. So, and these are all on Steam. So Dragon Age is going to be number 1, the oldest. Came out 2009 or 2010. I don't remember. This is the Ultimate Edition on Steam. You can buy it directly for $9.99 Canadian. Wow. So, dark fantasy, one of the biggest games or biggest launches of games that at the time BioWare did. I would say probably more successful financially than Mass Effect. And it's still going strong. Dragon Age is still going on. Not much was detriment. There's lots of game series that should stop or at least have better production teams to make a sequel. And we could say how that was changed from, let's say, KOTOR to KOTOR 2. Not to say KOTOR 1 was bad, but I thought I got exponentially better with the KOTOR 2. So did the bugs. So that just happens with those groups of people who work on like the Obsidian games and Black Isle games. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get a big ball of weirdness coming at you. The other one before that was Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I guess we could technically call that a CRPG. It's a classic, similar to New Vegas. We've talked about that a lot, so we don't have to bring that up anymore. But Shadowrun is another one of my favorites. That came out in 2014. And let me see the sale. What's the sale on? It is also 75% off. $4.24 Canadian. Wow. So if you guys ever wanted a cool turn-based fantasy, sci-fi, cyberpunk, dragons, ghosts, spirits, cyborgs, you name it, it's got it. And I would say it's probably better than Hong Kong, although Hong Kong's the more refined version. I think Dragonfall's where it all started. And Hong Kong, I think, is the same price as well. It came out in 2015. Oh, $5.49. Oh, $1 more. Look out. So, and it's set in, what was it? Oh, no, the first one was set in Prague, I think. And obviously the second one's set in Hong Kong. So, great games, really fun, well balanced to a degree. Some classes are a little bit better than the others, but they do a very good job with some characters and their background stories, and the plot is not hard to follow. So it's not the most impossibly stupid fantasy settings you've ever heard of. There's just such a blend of everything that you don't expect this rich and detailed setting. So both games are very good. Next one up is Underrail. This one I haven't tried, but everything that I've seen about it feels like it's heavily inspired by Fallout, has the same kind of setting. It's extremely difficult, and these are the kinds of games that I like because it's so hard. And I've read a few of these reviews, and when you have a guy who's saying, like, this game is not for people like the average CRPG players. This is for someone who actually wants a challenge. And these are the things I kind of like. They feel streamlined. They feel like they're from the early 2000s, and very difficult to get into. So, and you hear these guys who review, like,
the original games were hard to get into.
Yeah, like Fallout. The first Fallout 1 and 2, those are hard. Like, you can't just casually play Fallout and know what the hell's going on, because if you load up a save from a month ago, you're like, what was I doing? And then you die because the water chip is, gone. There's a timer on the game. So
to the numerous game devs out there who are listening, can you make a role-playing game like this, but based in ancient Mesopotamia, based on the writings in the library of Ashurbanipal? That would be amazing.
Well, there's all kinds of great settings you could use. I think futuristic post-apocalyptic worlds are great, and we just need more of them because we're too used to Fallout. We're too used to the comedy, or not just the setting, but the comedy is all sort of goofy. Like even Wasteland 3, there's lots of goofiness in it. I haven't even played, but what I've seen of trailers, and like they say there's a lot of heavy, like goofy sci-fi crap, and there's the goofy comedy. It's like, all right, maybe not for me. I prefer Fallout's mix of like American jingoism with what would happen if the bombs fell in 1950s, and then we created all these crazy social experiments underground. Like that's some
fatalistic humor.
Yeah, it's like a brilliant idea that it's so crazy. It would probably be something that America would have done if they contracted out to a specific kind of arms dealers. Like, yeah, we're going to make Fallout shelters and we're all going to experiment. It's like,
if we look at the disclosed, and that's the disclosed CIA and FBI projects of the 60s, 70s, yeah, that's what I would have done. Definitely. They're probably doing it right now.
Yeah. So this was
like right now.
So Underrail came out in 2015, and it's not just Fallout in a different setting. It's all kinds of great character creation that a lot of these games have very well done in character creation settings or mechanics at the start. So whenever we loaded up Kingmaker, holy crap, that. Like you have to, I'd say the first hour, you're just like, what class do I go into? There's so many subclasses, and then you could keep subclassing, and you're just like, wow. So
I think as a kid, I spent more time in the Baldur's Gate 2 character creator than in the actual game, and God, I restarted that game so often I couldn't finish it.
All right,
not joking.
The next one,
the beginning, just I couldn't see the all this beginning stuff anymore. I did it too often.
Well, that's. I mean, we could talk about the classics. I mean, that's always a great idea. I'm just trying to be more modern because there's games that people have heard of or don't know of, and this one I've done a review of called Tyranny. This came out, I think, in between Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, using the same engine, but the magic system in Tyranny is fantastic. You can customize how you cast a spell and what kind of spell. The storyline is not crazy, but it's fascinating enough to say, I wonder what's going to happen next. But you can tell it was rushed, and they have to cut the project short. So there's this whole section where you're like, oh, this could have been fleshed out. There could have been way more game, but they didn't have time to do it. But it is one of my favorites. It's a real-time with pause game. It's more tighter, or it's more tightly played and designed than other games of the type, like with Pillars of Eternity, also a very tightly made game, but this is where I felt it really shined for the setting, for the characters, for the gameplay, and especially the magic system. So lots of great ideas. It has almost a Warhammer vibe with the the characters that you come across, because there's all these generals that all represent parts of the Legion, not the Legion, the conquering world that you're a part of. And you're an agent of the judicator or the judge. So you're like the guy who makes all the decisions, or an agent of the guy who makes all the decisions. Whereas all these other guys are like people of war, and you have to figure out who do I side with in many cases. So it's such a nicely done game. It's short, and it's only, let me just check the price on this. It's only $8.49 on
nice.
today. Yeah, Canadian.
Oh.
So, very well done game. Characters are fascinating to me. So
something worth checking out.
It's one of those that just, it's a gem. It's this little gem. Everything just hits the right note. It's not perfect. It's too short, but it's not a long experience. So you kind of enjoy it for what it is. And that came out, let me see, that came out in 2016. Yeah. All right. Next up, Alex, I just talked about that. It's fully voiced, third person action, post-apocalyptic open world. So Fallout-ish, but not for everyone. It got mixed reviews. And as I said, the review said what's his name? Jank Vin Diesel. So, yeah. Haven't played.
Oh, Alec, I've heard of that one.
I've seen videos. It's kind of budget. Like you could tell the graphics are from 10 years ago. They didn't really do much, but it look like something I would want to play. So I might consider checking it out.
It was hoped to be really great because it was from the Gothic creators.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. But then it kind of I'm only going by like third party
it won a bunch of
opinions
awards
because I hadn't played it myself, and they said like it's the writing falls a bit flat.
Yeah, there's the Publica, obviously German I can't pronounce, Publikumspreis, the Deutsche
Publikumspreis.
Computerspielpreis 2018. So
the Publikumspreis means the audience award.
Okay. GameStar.
From what? GameStar is one of the few games journalism sites that where you actually might still find games journalism.
Okay.
To this day, and I think they branched out into English, and it's a PC magazine that originated in the 90s. That was always good. They still have the same guy for strategy games, and boy did he rip into the new Settlers game.
Oh, really?
He ripped into everything. Like, this is what Settlers is about. This is what these Settlers games did wrong and right. And this one is doing all the wrong things and none of the right things.
Oh.
Like, whoa.
Well, as far as this game goes, it is $7.49 Canadian. These are all cheap. They're all on sale.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one is Tower of Time, another game I haven't tried. I haven't heard of before. It is also real-time with pause, I believe, and story-rich dungeon crawler. These kinds of games I always look out for. They feel indie, but they're really well done, and seems pretty cool. This one isn't on sale, so $28.99 though. So that's its normal price.
I don't know if I want to buy things from a company called Permadeath.
Probably not.
Oh no, that's a new game mode. Okay, that's then it's fine.
Yeah, it says very positive, but the first two reviews are negative, so I'm not going to read that. But anyway, it caught my interest. Disco Elysium, if you guys haven't heard of it, you haven't played it, check it out. It is, I like to call it Planescape Torment in modern days without the combat. Well, it does have combat, but without a focus on combat. And it's about failing.
You had Planescape.
Well, you can play Planescape without combat, but what I'm saying is it's not about the combat, so you can actually have combat, but it's mostly story related. And this is all about not having the right checks. Like when you fail a check, it's okay. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to end the world. It could, but in most cases, that's how you play the game. And it's all...
Unless you open the box.
What? Unless you open
Don't open it.
Yes.
If you get the box, don't open it.
All right. Well, this is
Always remember, don't open it.
This is the final cut. It's $11.37, and it feels like a Planescape, even though it's in modern. I think it's in modern dystopian. I don't know what to call it. It's obviously a European vibe. It's this French European. I can't quite describe it. The setting. He starts off in a hotel, and then he's a cop, but he got so flat out drunk the night before he couldn't remember what he did that following week, the previous week. It's hilarious. It's like you're remembering or trying to remember what the hell you did. Very similar to how in Planescape you remember you're trying to remember what you were trying to do. But
but you don't have to get an eyeball from a barkeeper that in a cocktail that you put into your eye socket.
No, it's nothing like that, but it's in the same setup in its own weird. There's lots of political undertones I really loved that I thought I would have hated, but I thought this is actually pretty funny because his responses to things are so hilarious. And you feel like you're in a dystopian book from like the 70s or something. So I really liked it, and there's no one way to solve a problem. It's great stuff. It's all dialogue based, and it's just fun. It's a detective game, so I really like it. Okay, next one.
Hey,
so this is the one
Bad Boy's here.
Hey, how's it going?
Sorry, I had to take care of something.
Okay, all right. This one's called Solasta, Crown of the Magister. The reason why I'm bringing this up is other people have mentioned it. I did some read-ups on it. The story is mediocre, but apparently the gameplay is very well done for a turn-based game. And if you're one for gameplay, this might be for you. I don't know. It came out last year. I haven't checked it out yet because I'm not one for turn-based. When I do talk about turn-based games, I usually bring up Divinity, Original Sin 2. That's one of my favorites because I'm not a turn-based guy. But if you're using a fantasy setting and people take notice of you and they're saying this is pretty fun, I would check it out. For the price, $17, 49 cents. I'll probably wait another year or two if I really, really, really want to pay a fantasy turn-based game, which I don't really want to. I think I've been burned by Torment. That was a horrific game. It was so underwhelming. I didn't even care if it was inspired or tangentially related to Planescape. It was just horrible.
Oh, you meant Pillars?
No, Torment Tides of Numenera. That is.
Oh, okay.
Pillars is not bad. Pillars is a fun game, but it's not. The story isn't really anything special.
Yeah.
What you get, it isn't worth it. I don't think it's worth playing. Like, people love it.
I zoned out for a second because all these titles of these games they blend in, they meander into each other.
Yeah. Like
it becomes all this soup of which game are you now talking about? Planescape Torment Tides of Nume Pillars.
Yeah.
Well, all this big mush.
I did enjoy Pillars 2 more than I enjoyed Pillars 1. I made a video about that a long time ago, but is it worth it? Not for me personally. I didn't get much out of it at the ending, the character progression. Yes, it did have Chris Avellone in there for one or two characters, but it just did not connect very well, sadly.
Romik in the chat asks, is this going to be relatively spoiler-free or just no spoilers?
Yeah, spoiler-free, yeah.
Yeah, for the things Smud is listing, probably definitely. When the longer, really old games that we're going to mention, it's probably going to say a few words.
Right. So the last one I want to mention...
But it's not going to take away from
No. The last one I want to mention is the sequel, not the sequel, but it takes in the same continuity of the Pathfinder games from, was it Owl? Owlcat Games, there you go. And this is Wrath of the Righteous. This is a game I'm still playing, and they did an update just last month, and it is almost everything I want out of a CRPG. It has real-time with pause. It also has turn-based, so you can choose, which is great. And the options in it really make you feel powerful. Like you really get awesome upgrades, which are, and you could choose how to upgrade. You could choose to be these mythic creature of a certain disposition, like you're angelic or demonic. You can unlock secret ones. You could even throw that all away and do your own thing. So there's so many great things. There's also a super hidden ending that takes a lot of research to get. It is virtually impossible to figure out on your own, and you need a guide to do that. And I always have a tab open on my browser that has the walkthrough because it's so complicated. But it's one of those games. It's one of those games that give you that thing, like the super secret ending that it takes so long. You need this item. And you have to do it on this day with this companion. You have to have this other subquest done, and this person has to survive. It's that bizarre and complex.
This reminds me, have you ever played Ultima Online?
Not online, no.
Okay, do you know how the teleporter Stonehenge circles work?
Okay.
So you can teleport to different places in the world through these teleporters, but it depends on the alignment of the stars and the planets and the moon phase on where the teleporter will currently teleport you to.
Yes,
So if you don't know, if you can't read that right, you will end up somewhere because you go through the portal at the wrong time, so you end up on some tiny island full of demons or something. It's awesome.
That is part of the end game. You have to have the right you have 1 month window out of 12 months of the calendar game mechanic that you have to be in order to get the best ending. It's that annoying. And that's the easy one. That
is diabolical.
It is that crazy. You have to like research this certain thing, and then you have to tell other like stargazer people to research it for you, and then you have to get them killed because the bad guy would steal the research because he's holding them hostage. And there's this one part right near the ending of the game where it's like, okay, I could save these people, but the evil dude steals all the research, or I can let them get killed and stop the bad guy.
Do you have to make contradictory choices that like no sane character would take to get that ending?
In that case, there's a way around it, but that is one instance where you have to let innocents die. Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
The insane character actually
for your
charms.
super secret special magic ending. That's a hidden Easter egg. Okay.
Right.
If you need to, but in general, yeah, I have that in your game. But the first playthrough of any such role-playing game, do it blind.
Yeah.
Do no walkthroughs, no anything. Discover things yourself, because the first time you play one of these games will usually be the way that you make the decisions, and that's the really interesting part. On replays, you will do usually different things and try out more interesting stuff, and then you can use a walkthrough. But this first blind experience, that is the magic. That's where the magic is.
In that regards to fixing that scenario, there are mythic paths, and if you guys don't know what Pathfinder is, they have mythic paths in their RPG games as well. But one of the mythic paths is called the Trickster, and you are literally an agent of chaos, not an evil person, just an agent of chaos, and you can distort reality. So you can play tricks on people and you make them see things that aren't there. So that's one way of getting past that one check if you are playing as a trickster and you charm this one semi-villain early on in the game. She comes back to help you, and you sort of give her a wink, and she saves the people from getting killed, and you can also stop the bad guy. So there's ways around it, but it's intricate, and it makes you, because there's like 20 classes and there's like 20 subclasses, and then you get like the legend path, you get like 60 levels, and it's just like you keep getting stronger and stronger. It's so cool, and the characters are really neat. They have interesting backstories. Some of them are horrific, some of them are awesome, but it's so much good stuff. Like, you have to like Planescape as a concept, like just the concept of exploring and discovering a little item here. What does this item do? What's the backstory behind it? What's this book? Like, reading books gets you perks, and it's like this, +1 here or there, or what. Like, it's awesome. That kind of thing.
Especially for Planescape, you need to like reading, because I think it's the game with the most written lines.
I don't know about that, but getting like you could read books in Planescape too, and you get experience points, and that's great.
It has like the I think over 1 million lines of dialogue.
Oh geez,
Wow.
I don't even know, but like this is why I say this is the ultimate CRPG for me, because it has all the detailed D&D style game mechanics that you would expect, because the Pathfinder book, not the D&D book, of course.
Mhm.
It has stuff I love from Planescape. It has all these side quests and backstories, has this hidden stuff going on. You have a crafting system. You have all these different mechanics that you can do and discover and figure out. And of course, city building, and your whole city transforms. You could be evil. You could be a lich and start killing people. And it's like, this is good. This is This is great. You could just raise the dead, and you have this army of spirits. You could turn the villains into your companions as a lich. It's crazy. Like, you could do so many great things. And then the gods come down and have the discussion with you. You're like, oh shit. So anyway,
I just imagine like Smud's playing this game. He's just like you said, a lich, and he's just like slaughtering people, and he's just going, "This is good. This is good." I just imagine that in my head. Just him going, this is good.
Yeah, that is the freedom of a fully fledged out role playing game.
you can
You can
literally
really do anything.
you can
and
kill
it works.
the queen of the land. You can kill her and turn her into one of your mindless drones and be a companion. It is so powerful. Like, what you can do as a lich is crazy. You destroy the lich who made you a lich. That's how awesome you are. You are so cool being evil. And that's not even the most evil path. That's just that's just the undead guy. I'm not going to turn you undead. The real evil guy is the devil. You become a devil, and I haven't got.
Oh, can you give contracts to people that are really shit?
I haven't played it, but there are loads of contracts you have to watch out for, and that is perhaps a mechanic once you become a devil. I don't know.
Awesome. Before we jump to the videos, there's one we should probably mention out of just because it's such a special case, and although the gameplay is different from what you're used to, and that is this War of Mine.
Okay.
Because that is you are making the decisions in how the game goes, so that is a role playing game. That's I think that's how we define it. That it's not just a narrative on rails with some action elements, but it's an actual story that you influence on how it progresses.
Yeah, there's choices based in the game. I would say anything with choices, even because it has gameplay on top of the choices, so you have to get to the options. So I would say it's probably an RPG, probably.
Yeah, and so if you want to experience the real harshness, the horror and war trauma of living in a city during war, with all the buildings destroyed and foraging for scraps, and the decisions that entails, check out this War of Mine. It's not something for those of weak nerves.
All right, so we got some videos to watch. This one I found because someone showed me the low intelligence run in, I think, Fallout 1, which was good. I thought it was a pretty funny video. But then I saw the low intelligence build of New Vegas, which I never do because I always beef up my intelligence to get more skill points. And I know the character, so it made me laugh even harder. So you guys want to watch this? This is great.
Huh?
Hey, you see weird gun? Pardon, but have you seen any pre-war firearm antiquities of late?
Oh God!
Oh boy!
Is this Malkavian for dumb people?
Friend, not a few minutes ago I chanced upon a pair of destitute orphans grappling over just such an item. If you cover the area methodically, I'm quite certain you'll happen upon them with only the most insubstantial of delays. Be well, and do try and avoid the tragic path of the sot that led me to my present infirmities and spiritual woes.
So this is
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, because I have never seen this. May I guess that this means that since you're low intelligence, they wrote and recorded super sophisticated lines that are hard for you to understand as a player?
well, I don't know, but this guy, I don't even know this guy very well in the story. There's 3 drug addicts you have to clean up for the followers of the apocalypse. And he's just, hey, man, you got any chems? Like, that's all he is. He's just that guy. Got any chems, man? Oh, okay. And all of a sudden, you hear this line. You're like, what? He's super intelligent?
No. It's my guess was that because you're so low intelligent, that him now talking like this gives you as the player the feeling that you're dumb now.
It's brilliant.
Because you don't understand you don't necessarily understand what he's saying because he uses such big words.
I feel like it's more like the reverse. Like it's like, if you're like normal or high intelligence, this vagrant's just gonna be like and unintelligent, gibberish. But if you're low intelligence, that's what it sounds like to you because you're speaking on the same level. That's what I felt like. It felt like to me right there. It's like, oh, okay, I can understand him because I'm also an idiot as well in this game.
Yeah, it's great. Love it.
That'd be great, though. Actually, that'd be an interesting mechanic, though. Like,
I like this concept.
The
work you have to put in to just make that. It's like the Malkavian thing in Vampire.
Well, the problem would be because you get lower skill points every time you level up because your intelligence is so low. It'll take you like all the game to get to your max cap. I don't even know if you're going to get all your skills maxed. So, oh geez, I don't know. Maybe a strength build run could work, but can you imagine being like charismatic but a moron? Like I don't know if that'll work.
We see those people constantly in Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Well, anyway.
This area is locked down by the enemy that dislodged some Legion snakes from Nelson.
Snakes are small. Why don't you just use a gun or whatever to shoot them?
You're one of them special folks, ain't you? They ain't real snakes, see? They're Legion soldiers. I just called them snakes because they're low down and sneaky. Like a snake.
Is there some reason I should be talking to you?
Me want buy. You very intelligence man.
I know like attitude.
Like you have a clue what that even means.
Tell me about gum run.
What?
It's supposed to be gun runners, but yeah, anyway.
Welcome to the Casa Madrid. You came to the right place. Just watch how you treat the merchandise. All right, then. Looks like I need to talk slow and use small words. There's Sweetie, Maud, and Jimmy.
It's unusual to see a new face here. Are you a soldier or a scientist?
me shoulder.
Funny you should ask.
Animals. Aminals.
Aminals.
I is scientistic.
I see. Then you must have some special business here for them to have let you through.
Nuh-uh.
Interesting. Forgive me for prying, but I'm curious. Are you with a particular group?
I with me. Okay. I no hurt nobody.
Then for everyone's sake, I hope you serve a worthy master. Are you a maker of war or peace?
Pizza.
Pizza.
God.
That's reassuring. Although many who've made that claim to the followers of the apocalypse over the years have had less than pure intentions.
This is a restricted area. State your business.
Need food, fill belly. You got food?
I can't tell whether you're joking or radiation melted part of your brain, but either way, I don't see a good reason to let you through.
No offense intended, but why should I go anywhere with you?
Oh, this is great. Intelligence, this place is really complicated and stuff. You're smart. Can you help me do things? Okay.
Things.
Wow. You sound like you really do need some help. Look, I can help you out, but you can't do anything I mean, you can't help bad people who want to hurt the locals in Freeside. If you do, I'll leave. Does that make sense?
Who the hell are you?
Oh no,
They
fantastic.
bring you in to replace me? They're replacing me, aren't they?
Me take your job because me smarter. That's great.
Ah, shit, man. You're direct, you're no nonsense. How am I supposed to compete with that? I gotta pay these chem bills.
Welcome to the New Vegas Medical Clinic. I'm a fully qualified physician and can fix whatever is wrong with you for a reasonable fee. If you've got the caps, I've also got several implants available to enhance your physical attributes.
You sell plants too?
Awesome.
No. Implants, not plants. They're little machines I can put inside you to make you faster, quicker, or smarter. I recommend the smarter implant.
No students in hall without pass. Visitors must sign in at administration.
Shiny robot.
Special needs students must be chaperoned at all times. Allow me to escort you back to class, child.
It was Fallout 3, not New Vegas.
Yeah, he said it's a bonus clip.
Yeah.
Well, it's about damn time. What took you? Oh. I've been in the Reaper's shadow for a long time now, and I thought he'd finally showed up to collect. He's just mocking me now.
How much money do you owe this Reaper guy?
What? I was talking about death, kid. Guess that one went right over your head, didn't it? Old Sergeant Dornan would have had a field day with you.
By the way, don't get up or make any sudden motions, no matter how uncomfortable that chair gets. The cushion's just for show.
Huh? No. It's not even a word. Yeah, this is dead. This is dead money, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. A moron. Just what I need. Look, that seat you're sitting in? It's a bomb. Go boom. Get up without my permission. I'll blast your ass so far through your head, it'll turn the moon cherry pie red. So, let's keep this sweet and polite, and finish our conversation with no misunderstandings. Christ, if that collar blows, I don't know if you'd know the difference. You'd probably still keep walking around with that dumb, blank look. Just because I work in entertainment doesn't mean I'm a moron.
I'm happy you cleared that up for me, but we've got another situation to worry about. There's a merchant hanging around near the prison. Something feels funny about him, and I want you to deal with him. Shake him down if he's legit, but if not, take him out. Not ha-ha funny, you moron. Funny as in suspicious. He's not trying to run away like most people.
Well, well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been, Crawling through pits of radioactive muck again?
Oh yeah, so this is the Old World Blues DLC.
Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie?
Actually, yes.
Is this really what I have to look forward to?
Yeah, so technically you don't have your brain, so I guess you are pretty low intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, had I? What exactly will you do if I don't? Not put me back in that cranial dungeon you call your head? Heavens forbid.
Nice choice of words.
Once you're back in my head, I'll watch television, lots and lots of television.
You wouldn't. That's inhuman.
I would, and I'd follow it up with an alcohol and ant nectar cocktail every night.
Speaking of which...
You're a monster. A deranged, self-destructive monster.
You here to fight in the arena? Then you're talking to the right man.
Okay.
No, imbecile, that's not how it works. I set up the fights, then you go in the arena and fight.
Third floor access is for executives only. Please identify.
I screamed.
I screamed.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
That's the actual password. You're so dumb. You got the password right. It's awesome.
Nice.
I had a run-in with this group calling themselves the Brotherhood of Steel. Pretty strange bunch. Do you know anything about them?
I heard they shoot lasers from their eyes.
Wow. I've got to admit, you have completely defied my first impression of you. Eye lasers. I'll be sure and look out for that next time. Any other juicy bits of intel? Do they? Oh, that's a relief.
All right. Cool. Here's lines of lore.
That's this first bit is the credits outro where they have some clips of the developers. So that's just
oh wow.
That's the yeah. This is a compilation video of some of the old cutscenes, and in the outro with the credits you get that with some developer memories. So this is the old Westwood crew.
Yeah. Jeez.
This game came out in '97, and after that you get some more. The actual intro. This photorealistic cutscene graphics, it's amazing. Like back then, this actually looked beautiful. Yeah, he sadly died before the game came out.
Wow.
I think this was the actual trailer for the game that you got on like video game magazine CDs and such. Lots of badass fantasy shit. Oh, and this was the installation video.
Really?
They had for the installation when you installed the game, it started this video. Wow. And then the installation like prompts and everything where you wanted to install the game would be in this book, and you got the loading bar with a vial that was filling up with blood. There was a lot of love put into games like this back in the day. And this is the actual intro. these ancient blue screen graphics with real actors running around with makeup and shit.
A decent job with the lighting. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, that was sad.
Not now, Jaquel. Belial's mother is awake.
What do we have to fear from a dead god?
Belial has arranged his own resurrection.
Why does that voice sound so familiar?
No, it's the
For his execution, he created a magical
Lex, I think.
beast to serve as his new mother.
Oh, Lex Luthor from the Superman animated series, right?
I think so.
Her lesser children as a prelude.
Yeah, it definitely does sound like him. God, I haven't seen that in a long time.
What will you do, sire?
I'm waiting for Patrick Stewart to pop in.
My long vision is not quite over.
What about the mortals? What protection will you offer them?
There is one who is cursed with the power to oppose Belial. But he rests in a Gladstone dungeon and has no understanding of his destiny.
That's you.
Oh, and I looked it up. It's Clancy Brown. That was the voice.
Oh, okay. Trying to find him.
So, you're Luther, son of Scotia. You don't look so impressive to me. No! No!
Don't worry, he's fine.
Did a decent job animating that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So basically what happened there... Floop, let's take a pause. Basically what happened there is you are Luther, son of the witch Scotia, which was the bad witch from Lands of Lore 1. And in her death, she cursed you with her powers that you got something like the Mask of Mirrors or some shit. And it randomly transforms you into crap. Like the big monster Hulk thing or the tiny little raptor thing. And one is, of course, a very strong brute. And the little thing, the little Yoshi, fits through little tunnels and as well is very good at magic. There's a lot of mana points. The problem is throughout the game, this transformation happens randomly and in random directions. So when you go through whichever dungeon you're in, you don't necessarily turn into what you need to be right now.
I was just going to ask you about that. Like, if you can control the transformation.
Later on in the game, if you do the correct things, you get the ability to actually control that. You will still transform randomly, but you can also transform back if you want to. So that's that. And Luther, of course, does not yet know of his destiny, but he magically ran into exactly the cave he needed to be, because that's where the dragon oracle, the Drarakel, is, which is an ancient god, just like Belial. But he is the last one who remained behind, because the gods knew that Belial would reincarnate himself, as was stated in the intro. Belial was sentenced to death, to be executed, and because he knew that, he had time enough to create a magical beast that would one day reincarnate him. And these little spider things are preemptive births in honor of him, that this mother beast spawns. And
Was that the thing we saw? Sorry to cut you off. Was that the thing we saw attacking the little girl?
Yes, that was one of the spawns of Belial's new mother. And throughout the game, more evolved versions of these things appear, which are bosses that look more and more like Belial himself.
Yeah, so the character, the Drarakel, whatever,
yes,
is played by Clancy Brown. So that's the guy.
Yeah, and if you understand German, I highly recommend you play it in German, because it's really well voiced. And that fat guard that made a mistake of mocking you so that you could break free, he's fine. He's on your trail like Inspector Zenigata. He just wants to capture you back all the time, and you go through the jungle, the ice thing, and he's just trying to get he's just trying to get you. It's like he gets these funny little scenes, and there's even different paths on how you can get from chapter to chapter. So you even start the next chapter in a completely different place. Like because this came out on 4 CDs, when you switch to the next CD, you come out in a completely different place with a different cutscene in between that even can have a different cutscene with the fat guard who's on your tail. There's so much amazing stuff. And we're not going to watch the entire thing, because this is a long play of 5 hours. We're just gonna look at a few things in here that might show us some of the gameplay. So what we see here is the wonderful high-resolution graphics. You get a little character portrait that also speaks, that when you talk, the portrait talks. You see hit points, mana points, and the spells. Then that's the lower thing with the 4 dots. And when you cast a spell, it just loads up. Here you see it loads up. That's the tier 1
short sword. Burnt mail.
So it loads up this first level of the spell. That takes up this much mana, as you could see. And when you want to cast the tier 2 spell of lightning, like all the lightning spells, but you don't necessarily have the mana for the high levels, because then all your mana is gone at once. You have to wait 1, 2, and then release, or 1, 2, 3, and then you get the fork lightning direct instead of just the little sparks. And so you can't just spam the level 3 spell. You have to actually charge it up. In Lens of Law 3, they changed, and you can just spam the button until your mana is empty. There's no immersion to that. Here, there's this with the spells. There's actual immersion, and there's a hidden 5th level to every magic spell type, which is the ancient magic, for which you have to break a stone, and then you get 1 charge of that. And then there's a death spell group, and the death spell, just a damage spell you throw out. You probably have seen the GIFs used all over the internet as avatars with these misty skulls that appear and disappear. That's from this game. And the 5th level of that doesn't do this big Reaper animation that does super damage. No, it turns you into an avatar of death. You are invincible, but you only have 1 hit point. So once the spell ends, you will just have 1 hit point, which is really great in a boss fight. That's that. What you have noticed just now is that Luther picked up an item, and the narrator said what the item is. Said the name of the item. And that's throughout the game. The game is fully voiced. This is 1997, and the game is fully voiced. You're not reading anything.
That's a nice touch. I like that.
You can hover over items in the inventory.
Beautiful day, and this is Gladstone's
Oh yeah.
best.
He makes random comments.
Aha.
For back then, this 2.5D stuff looked really good.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's good.
I like
interesting.
pretty lights.
So the mana slowly regenerates, and when
Oh no!
oh yeah, this is when he. See, the camera is also higher now. But he can't. I think he can't use magic, or he has very few mana points.
Next time, be more careful.
But he's super strong.
Just randomly transforms the creature.
Yeah, so there's some there's some triggers in the dungeons where you deliberately transform into the relevant thing.
Just my luck to have Burlow cancel for this pig hunt.
But other than that, it happens randomly.
Step lively, lad. 'Tis no pig today. We are hunting Scotia's beast boy.
And there's lots of these little scenes that happen in the game. You got these little mini movies that tell the story, or people talk to you in the wild, and it's all these recorded green screen things with real actors. So the normal weapon combat is of course very simple.
Almost feel like we were missing him half the time.
Yeah, let's see if something later we can see some more of the inventory. Oh, he found. Oh, this is an optional dungeon. Let's see it further earlier. Before you talk with the Drarakel? No, after.
Mail.
Oh yeah, I think this is the room.
Yes, I'll find you again, Lufa. And you can have my guarantee on that.
Reminds me of the first Doom game.
Nobody approaches the mighty Drarakel without an offering.
He may approach.
Sire, I...
You surprise me, Luther.
But you're the Drarakel. They say you can see the past and the present. Surely you knew I would seek your counsel.
Past, future, nothing is certain.
The past I would leave forget. I had assumed you could direct my future. Surely you know of the curse I have carried since my mother's death.
Your mother, Scotia, did indeed steer a darkening course. Guard carefully the ancient magic she sent you. And although you suffer some from lack of control...
Lack of control? I change into beasts. Please, help me shed this thing. Tell me what to do.
I am but an observer of mortal affairs. I cannot advocate.
But...
Be still. Do not relinquish your own responsibility so quickly. Others, for good or evil, will gladly relieve you of your burden to suit their own designs. A wise man determines his own future.
Can you provide me then with a hint?
The answers you seek are likely found in the great southern continent among a race of cat-like creatures. The shining path in the anteroom beyond can convey you to the continent.
I thank you, sire.
When others come, I will guide them as well.
So. Oh yeah, that's another. If you go back and click on the door again, the next visitor clip is shown, but Luther doesn't actually see it. Oh no, he comes back.
Why
once
are
more.
you here again?
These are basically.
Did you not set the shining path?
Of course. The boy is ungrateful. He squanders your assistance.
Oh no, not ungrateful, sire.
Equip yourself and use the path. Travel to the southern continent. There are no advantages to delay.
So this is basically a secret cutscene.
This new beast that the traders have reported in the Huline jungle, it seems to spring from an evil force or power that may soon threaten Gladstone directly. Even now, the Keep's spiritual defenses have eroded to less than half of their capacity.
Your suspicions are correct.
And it's nice to know I'm on the right track, but you must have more that can help here.
And sire, I intend to accompany Mistress Dunn as bodyguard. Can you tell me of any other unusual dangers from which I must protect her?
Small creatures grown large and needless hostilities. These things may add to your cares.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Huh.
Yeah, so Maeve is basically another actual strong female character. That actually exists, that feminists never knew about. The skeleton servant brought you some items.
Sure.
So here we have the inventory. You see the stats up there, very self-explanatory. The things in the middle are your quick button things. And on the right you have your equipment. With the top slots are for magic items that you have no idea what they do because you hover over them and the narrator says the name of the item. That's all you get. That's all the information you get. Maybe you see that something adds a bit to your magic because then it gets a bit darker. That's the extra magic that it gives. Like 5 mana from a little thing you find in the next dungeon. But actually, you have no clue what any magic items in this game do. There are walkthroughs that have these answers for you, but in the game, you have to figure it out through trial and error. You just have to trust that the item you find is the item that you need right now. It's kind of fun.
All right. Well, it seems pretty big, this game. But
Champion Stone.
So this is right here because this is the path to the next chapter. Yeah, you shouldn't have done that. Lots of experience though, I think.
Circle strafing this guy.
Yeah, you're not supposed to hit the skeleton servant of the Drarakel. Oh, it's damaged now. They took that effort.
Ooh,
that was pretty. So this is the intended path for you. This is the shining path, the mirror that you walk through, and then you are at the next place. So insert CD2. But you see this nice wall hanging of the last war of the gods. And there's a secret passage.
Nice.
And this is an entire labyrinth that the Drarakel is building to become a museum of the old artifacts of ancient times. And right here in front, this optional dungeon is really amazing.
Skeleton's key.
Because this skeleton key is like when if you ever went to a museum and they have these audio devices that you can hold to your ear, push in the number of the thing you're looking at, and it gives you a little explanation so that you don't have to read a book. Yeah, that's basically that. So you can walk through here, look at the exposition pieces, and it will give you lots of Lots of lore, actually.
Spark.
What? That is hidden here?
Heal.
Nice.
Wow, I didn't know that. And there's one other... Like, yeah, in this, you would put a skeleton key into that thing and it would explain to you what this monster is. And this guy seems to know secret passages I have never seen before. Amazing. I didn't know there's so much more stuff. There's ancient magic stones in here. What the hell? I knew there were some amazing items that you just find on the upper levels normally, but this is endgame stuff. Wow. Okay. I didn't know that. I thought you die when you go in there.
Dragon gem.
The game also has a crafting system. Oh, I think he's going right to the exit here. Oh no, it's the rainbow blade. The prison blade is funny when you use it in daylight, so not inside the dungeon. It charges up with energy, and every fifth strike it will blind the enemy. Yeah. So that aside, the game has a crafting system by which you can mix items together. And you can mix anything with anything. But it usually then turns into indecipherable crap.
That reminds me of, was it Carandia? Where you had all these gems, you had to make some sort of concoction? I can't remember what it was. It was basically trial and error. Geez, that was a while ago I played those games.
So I don't remember the... that's a shop somewhere in the cat people village. It's the oracle guy. Where things are floating around.
Please, what do you desire that I may have? Unguents? A fire wand? Oh, this bit of ancient magic is better than a power orb.
He did say he was very grateful. Say, this is a trusting fellow. I don't suppose he'll miss this.
Please, I have appointments and must go.
Very well. I have appointments too.
Hello again.
Hello.
Just stealing from the guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is an important piece that I hope would come up. This is a story stone that has recordings of ancient history, and those are video sequences that are hidden in the game that tell you the backstory of the gods. And he throws it away. Great. So with the crafting system, the narrator will then also say, I don't know the English word that they use, but basically, indecipherable crap. Great.
All right.
It's wonderful.
Well, we don't have to go through the entire video. This is pretty long.
Yeah, this is basically the gist of it. And it's a very fun game. Very mysterious dungeons, lots of optional dungeons, as you saw here, secrets in the secrets of the secret dungeons. Lots to enjoy, and a really good story. I recommend it to people.
All right, so the next video, what do we have next? Quest for Glory?
What's the next? Quest for Glory, yeah.
All right, let's check it out.
To which I have to say...
Whoa.
So this is some random playthrough I found. We can just leave the sound out probably and just let it run. This game, mainly my brother played it. I was still too young for it. It was too difficult for me at that age. And yeah, that's your main character. And as you start the game, you have 3 classes to choose from. fighter, thief, or mage, I believe.
Yeah. This is.
But there are secret classes in the game.
Yeah.
Like the paladin, that you can get if you played the previous game, and import your character from there.
Yeah, this is. I remember playing 4 a lot, just because I don't know why. This is the game I kept playing. But yeah, it was an adventure game with these. Was it turn-based, or it was pretty much like active time battle? I had to wait your moment to attack and what you could do and all that stuff. You learn skills, you learn abilities, you level up. Oh, jeez, this is so Sierra.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's like every Sierra game.
This UI is amazing. Like, oh, symbols. Oh,
yeah, no, this
great.
is every Sierra game had that frickin' bar with walk, touch, use, inventory, talk, look.
Huh? No, Jacob. Gibberish is about words. Was this the German word? The German narrator was a woman, by the way. She had a very pleasant voice. And she would tell you, hingemurkster Kram. So, messed up nonsense, messed up crap, messed up stuff. Something like that.
So this is obviously an Egyptian theme. The 4th game had a... what the hell? It was like a medieval swamp world you were in? I can't remember exactly.
I have no idea. This is the only one I've played or watched to be played.
Oh.
And I really love the setting. And there's these really strange story parts, environments you get into.
Wow, they
like
must
the
have...
talking monkeys in whose tree you then spent the night.
They must have remastered the game to get those screens to emulate properly and save and load and wow. What is going on?
Where are you going?
Yeah,
What's your point?
Anyway, we don't have to watch this. It's okay.
Yeah. This is like the point. Let's switch somewhere up. Oh yeah, there's a mini game in this village, this African village, where you can play. I forgot what the game is called. It's an actual real game that was invented in Africa, I believe. There's these stupid trials here. Oh yeah, that's the game. That's the board game. Bunch of trials and we become part of the tribe or some nonsense. Oh, that's the board game. Where you just push the stones into the other guy's thing or into your thing. I don't remember. It's a relatively simple game.
Okay. Anyway, we could.
It'd be my move.
Yeah, we can stop right there. But yeah, no. I'm still playing CRPGs this day. My Steam library has mostly those. I even recommend Divinity Original Sin 2, even though it's turn-based. A lot of people still like turn-based for all kinds of reasons. There's nothing wrong with it. I just prefer to have my real time with pause. I just love that experience when the D&D games like Baldur's Gate came out and Planescape Torment. Those were my favorite style of gaming for CRPGs. And not that there's anything wrong with turn-based, but certain games should stay the way they are, like Baldur's Gate, for example. Even though it's being made by Larian, the Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know if it's it's something I want to buy. It's just one of those things that it's been in development or in beta for how long? 5 years? 4 or 5 years? It's something's up with that title. I don't know what's taking so long. So I'm very skeptical.
I have a bad feeling about constant rewriting issues because my feeling, it's just my gut feeling, tells me that they got the idea that, hey, let's jump onto the woke train, like all this other D&D shit and Pathfinder shit that went that route. And now we're at the time where the pendulum is swinging back, and they have realized, okay, all the companies are dying that do this. So if we release our game with all this woke shit in it, it will flop, and we're in debt. Let's cut it all out again and rewrite it so that we actually make some money.
Well, that's what we heard about years ago.
That.
We heard about that. I don't know in what capacity. I don't know what they did, like what content they made to make it woke. I don't know. And I haven't seen a video about that. I heard an article about that years ago, but I don't know what they've done.
I have no idea. It's just my intuition.
Yeah. Well, again, the gameplay is not really. It's not something I want. If I wanted that, I'll just play Divinity 2 again, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's so well balanced, and there's all these exploits that are so much fun to play around with. If you guys don't know the telekinesis weight exploit, oh, it's hilarious. You just get a trunk, you load it up with stuff to make it super heavy, and then in combat, you use your telekinesis to move it around onto the enemies, and you just get bowled over. It takes no it takes no turns, and if you kill the enemy, it replenishes all your energy to keep doing. So you just keep crushing. It's basically a boulder.
Wow.
You're just crushing people with this giant chest full of barrels, because the barrels are the heaviest items in the game. It's hilarious. You can probably see a video of that on YouTube. That's if you want to cheese it, but there's other exploits which make it really fun. I always go the ranged combat mode, so I feel like I'm playing XCOM. So everyone has a bow or a crossbow. It's great. So. But yeah, that is one of my favorite turn-based games. But all the CRPGs games I really like are usually real-time at pause, and they've been around for a while, and they're great. But yeah, I think Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous is way up there as being one of the best games to appreciate on your computer. It's gigantic. It will take you at least 45 to 50 hours. That's if you're doing it a very leisurely pace or very quick pace. There's so many characters and side stories and things to redo. It's just massive, and it has everything I like about computer role-playing games. There, other games I've mentioned I don't know. I like LX sounds interesting, and I like the quirky, like even the games from Spider, like those are, like that company's not AAA, but they do the games that I would probably enjoy to a point. So, and they're all, as far as I know, they're mostly for PC, but it's not as well known as, let's say, the BioWare games or the Black Isle games or Obsidian games. What are they called? Spider-Mine? What the hell is that company called? I think they're just called Spider Games. Yeah, that's it. Greedfall, that was the one. They're doing a sequel.
I remember that name.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Not sure when Greedfall 2 is coming out though, but done very well. Good reviews. Again, it's one of those non-AAA games that give the AAAs a run for their money. But they're fun. They're big. It's a open world. So always nice to see them. What else out there I could think of that have my attention outside of Nightingale, which is another PC RPG or PC style RPG game. Yeah, Starfield's the only one that comes to mind that I'm interested in, and they pushed the release date back by a few months again, which is good. Always want a nice, well-polished game in Bethesda world, which is impossible. So who knows exactly what that will do. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's the only two things I'm looking out for are Starfield and Nightingale. So, no Kickstarter projects. No remasters. Yeah, not even Mass Effect looks interesting. I don't even know what the hell they're doing with BioWare anymore. No one knows.
I think they're still working on the next one. from what I hear.
Yeah, at least the next Dragon Age has gone into feature complete, or what's the term? That every part of the game can be played at start to finish. I don't know the exact phrase for that, but that's the phase they're in. But yeah, no, I don't have any expectations or interests outside of 2 games, which aren't going to come out in a while. So I'm not that excited. But always another fun time to go through Shadowrun again or Pathfinder. Those games take months to go through. They're so big. They're so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have anything on my wish list either. That's, an RPG.
Right. Yeah, these games, when you have them, they're bucks by time, like bucks spent per hours played, and you can come back to them years later and just play it a different way, and it's a completely different story.
Yeah, like stuff like in Fallout, I had no idea. I know they would have a low intelligence run because they did it since Fallout 1. But I didn't know they had all that extra voice acting. That's pretty cool.
Oh, damn, we could have talked about Gothic.
Gothic's another great PC RPG, yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many out there. Even Dragon's Dogma I would consider a PC RPG, which is unique. And we talk about what would happen in a game if you could just pick stuff up. If you could just grab stuff. How would that mechanic work? And they were like, okay, well, what happens if you grab a dragon? Like, oh, it would fly in the air with you. Like, oh shit, you're right. So I love that concept of grabbing almost anything in the game and see what happens. So even had nothing to do with dragons, it's still a great concept that other games should have. Anyway, if we have specific questions about PC RPGs that we've talked about, please leave a comment. We love talking about this stuff. Or come to the Discord. We'll be happy to share our ideas and our experiences because we can talk about, at least I could talk about Planescape for a long, long time. And just eat your ears off.
Yeah, and definitely, please, 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 check out this gem that is Lands of Lore 2 Guardians of Destiny. The game is fully voiced. There's no text in the game in 1997. The gameplay is fun. The dungeons are scary. The story is great. Go and check it out. It's worth your while.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great evening, and bye-bye now.
Good night.
Bye.